The fans probably want Paddy and Ilya like they wanted Tony and Khabib, and I'm gonna fuck it up, and that's my job.
I got to go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that is more like enjoys like a knockdown drag out more than the other guy. Not that Paddy Pimblett doesn't love to fight. It's just Gaethje loves to like actually get down and throw fists.
The UFC community is going absolutely wild right now, and I'm talking about the kind of raw energy that tells you something massive is about to unfold. Justin Gaethje just dropped this brutal, unfiltered final statement directed straight at Paddy Pimblett, and believe me, the gloves are completely off at this point. This feud has been escalated into legitimately dangerous waters, the type where you can sense the hostility intensifying with every single exchange between them. Kicking things off, we have Trevor Whitman sharing his perspective on how Justin's preparation is progressing, and honestly, his certainty is coming through in every single word he speaks. He's expressing serious confidence about how Justin Gaethje is performing right now. Whitman mentions that Justin looks razor sharp, totally dialed in, and here's what really stands out. He continues developing his skills even at this advanced point in his fighting journey. Trevor mentioned that the intense training sessions they've been grinding through, paired with the elite-level sparring partners challenging Justin every single day, have pushed him to a completely different tier. The entire squad is genuinely pumped about how the remaining weeks of preparation are developing, and when you get that kind of excitement from someone like Whitman, you know it's the real deal.
I was so glad that the team stepped up and kept pushing them, and so I feel really good about that. Today was a really hard push. After watching his sparring, I'm really seeing him start to incline, so I don't see him declining at all. So this week I want to really push him, and today was a tough one. So man, it's great having Kamaru out here and Faraz. So they're good bodies for him right now and helping him push. But man, I feel really good at where we're at right now, and I'm so happy and proud of the team. It's a cool thing to be a coach and coach with someone for so long and not allow anything that happens like that to be a distraction. You know, Justin is just so dialed in right now. He is just on point. And man, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this training camp. His mindset is so good right now. His grappling is so good right now. So I feel really good.
Shifting focus to Justin Gaethje himself. This man appears absolutely dialed in, and I'm describing that uncommon degree of concentration that you can actually see emanating from a competitor. The focus is undeniable when you observe him during training or listen to his interviews. He's refining every aspect of his fighting arsenal right now, zeroing in on his cardio to ensure he can sustain that crushing rhythm, accuracy so each shot lands with maximum impact, and mental warfare to destroy his rival both psychologically and physically. Justin is completely preparing to establish dominance the second that cage door shuts and control anyone brave enough to step into that octagon with him. This goes beyond simple preparation. This is a warrior with a clear mission to demonstrate he remains among the most lethal competitors in the sport.
Good. And again. Up and go. Good. Good. Go. Good. Lift strong. Yeah. Good. Good. All right, good. And lift. Good. Good. Good.
Now let's examine Paddy Pimblett's circumstances, because this is where the situation becomes fascinating from a training perspective. Paddy shared something that surprised many people in the MMA community. He was initially preparing his entire camp for Ilia Topuria, constructing his whole strategy around that particular fighter and fighting style. Then just a handful of days before the official reveal, he discovered he would actually be squaring off against Justin Gaethje instead. Consider that reality for a moment. Only days before everyone else learned about it, Paddy needed to completely readjust mentally and physically. He explained the opponent change happened extremely late, which in professional fight preparation can be absolutely devastating. But here's what's impressive. His coaching staff has already made the adjustments. They're developing a strategic approach they truly believe will succeed against someone as lethal as Gaethje. That demonstrates the type of flexibility required at the championship level. Paddy's corner appears convinced they can make it work.
Well, I thought I was going to fight Justin in October. I'll be honest, I thought I'd be on the Abu Dhabi card and fight Justin, but it just didn't come off. So I'm not going to lie, I've only started just preparing for Justin. I was preparing for Ilya. I thought I'd end up fighting Ilya, so I was preparing for him for a couple of weeks. And then I found out like 2-3 days before the announcement it's going to be Justin. And we've been preparing for Justin. We're getting a game plan together, and that's what's going to win us the fight.
During discussions about Paddy Pimblett and his thoughts on this upcoming battle, Justin remained direct and concentrated, which is precisely what you expect from an experienced fighter like him. He emphasized that elite-level MMA comes down to conditioning and proper preparation. These are the core elements that everything else depends on, and he's grinding through those punishing training sessions, so there won't be any second-guessing come fight night. Justin understands that at this championship caliber, errors are costly. Sometimes a single mistake can completely alter the outcome. He thinks Paddy's attacking approach, that constant forward movement and eagerness to exchange, might actually create the opportunity he needs to connect with something fight-ending. That's classic veteran awareness, recognizing chances where others might only see threats.
It's all cardio. This whole sport is cardio. I got so much work in front of me, so that when I make that walk, I know that I couldn't have done anything else to be ready. I'm going to be as ready as I can be. Obviously, at this sport and at this level, you cannot make mistakes, and so I think his ambition is going to get him in trouble, and I hopefully can take advantage and knock him out.
He continued with something even more direct, demonstrating he completely understands the larger situation developing. He recognizes the UFC and the fan base are anticipating this enormous potential clash between Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria. That's clearly the bout everyone is demanding for pure entertainment and narrative value. But Justin's objective is different. He wants to intervene first, completely destroy those plans, and slam the door on all that excitement by handling his business inside that cage. He's displaying pure, unshakable belief that he can take control when everything is on the line and completely derail whatever trajectory the UFC has mapped out for Paddy's career. That's a competitor who knows he's about to send a massive message.
All I have to win, I'm going to have to spoil. I know that I don't know that the UFC wants it. I know that the fans probably want Paddy and Ilya like they wanted Tony and Khabib, and I'm going to pick it up, and that's my job.
Urijah Faber offered his perspective on this matchup, and his breakdown clearly favors Justin Gaethje. Faber explained that Gaethje absolutely dominates in those brutal exchanges, the type of violent back-and-forth wars that would destroy most competitors. Justin welcomes those close-range firefights, and that warrior mindset can completely overwhelm rivals who aren't mentally ready for that degree of brutality. Faber also highlighted Gaethje's Division I wrestling credentials as a game-changing element, a method to shut down Paddy Pimblett's lethal submission attacks that have ended so many fights. If Justin can dictate the location of the action, control the tempo, and stay out of those scrambles where Paddy becomes so dangerous, Faber thinks that provides him a significant advantage in both dominance and rhythm from start to finish.
Man, I got to go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that is more like enjoys like a knockdown drag out more than the other guy. Not that Paddy Pimblett doesn't love to fight. It's just Gaethje loves to like actually get down and throw fist for fist. And he's also got the Division I wrestling to kind of negate some of the biggest skill sets of Paddy. Paddy's like a very dominant grappler when it comes to submissions and being, aggressive with that. I think Gaethje has the tools to keep it where he wants it, and I think that's going to give him an edge.
Back to Paddy Pimblett. Paddy went directly after Arman Tsarukyan lately, and honestly, he showed no restraint whatsoever. Paddy completely trashed him as pure hype and empty words, essentially rejecting everything Arman brings to the table as a contender. Paddy made his position absolutely obvious that he doesn't consider Arman remotely close to a genuine threat or respectable challenger, just pushing him away like he's not worth discussing. He's reinforcing his focus on larger, more significant battles coming up, the caliber of fights that will genuinely advance his position and push him closer to a championship opportunity.
But Arman's Arman's an absolute idiot. Ilya's the man, so Ilya's who I'm going to fight. Arman just talks a big game and he's...
Regarding Arman Tsarukyan, his latest single-round battle with Shara Magomedov resulted in a draw, and that was definitely an intense, fast-paced encounter that had fans across all platforms arguing about who actually won it. Arman revealed later that the outcome didn't shock him whatsoever, which is fascinating, since most fighters absolutely despise draws. He mentioned he anticipated either submitting Shara during their fight or having it ruled a draw. Those were the only two possibilities he had considered mentally. He stressed that defeat never crossed his thoughts, not for one moment, because he understood Shara would dodge the ground exchanges completely and waste most of the round moving around, staying mobile, and refusing to engage where Arman thrived. He stated, and these are his exact words, "It's fine. I knew it would be me submitting him or a draw. There was no possibility I would have lost, because I knew Shara would avoid all grappling situations and circle for 6 minutes." Confidence in reading your opponent.
Впечатление нормальное, как бы я ожидал либо submission, либо ничья. Проиграть я никак не мог, потому что я знал, что Шара будет просто избегать борьбу, бегать 6 минут.
He followed. Arman added by explaining the fight didn't unfold the way he originally anticipated when he first accepted the matchup. The duration was shortened from what was initially scheduled, which completely altered the tactics and game plan he could execute. His strategy was to systematically break Shara down, exhaust him, and then dominate in the final moments when exhaustion became decisive. Instead, Shara remained careful throughout, maintained a cautious approach, and handled the situation effectively by not providing Arman the opportunities he required. Arman felt he came close, but fell short of doing enough to clearly secure the victory. He clarified the original rules allowed for extended time, but Shara preferred 5 minutes, and it lasted approximately 6. Arman's approach was to tire him out and then end it, but Shara refused to engage. He simply stayed defensive along the cage. Shara executed his defensive strategy flawlessly, and Arman acknowledged he didn't quite accomplish enough to force an undeniable win.
Должно было больше времени быть. Регламент был больше времени, но Шара хотел 5 минут, потом мы ели, как-то говорится, на 6 минут, потому что моя задача была как бы сделать так, чтобы он подустал, и потом его зафинишировать. Но он не боролся, просто стоял, защищался от канатов, и он выполнил свою работу на 100%, а я чуть не доработал.
Following Arman's recent performance at ADCC, Demetrius Johnson complimented his relentless work ethic, and when it comes from Mighty Mouse, that carries serious weight. DJ explained, "It's uncommon to witness a top contender pushing this intensely, particularly in grappling competitions outside MMA, where the pressure is different and the competition is purely technical skill." He noted Arman's drive and sense of urgency, observing, "He's performing like someone with everything on the line, that motivation and determination pushing him constantly, and that fire, that complete refusal to coast or back down, that's precisely what makes him so threatening right now in the lightweight rankings."
Ah! Boys, there's not another man out there right now who's putting in the work like he is and grappling, and he's a number one contender. Back when I was fighting in the UFC, right? Strikeforce, UFC, Elite XC, XCS, whatever it is, they're not letting their athletes go out and do this. Damn near if he's the number one contender. But this guy's the number one contender, and he's out there grappling. Like I said earlier before I was bringing this video down, that he's got rent due next month. Like, what is...
Now the discussion moves to someone who represented total dominance at the championship level. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the perfect record, undisputed champion, who retired completely on his own decision. When questioned whether that competitive drive might ever bring him back to active competition, Khabib responded without hesitation, and his position was definitive and unwavering. He emphasized that stepping away was a calculated, carefully considered choice, not something decided impulsively or during an emotional moment. While he acknowledged that the desire to compete never completely fades, that warrior spirit doesn't just vanish when you've held championship gold. He clarified that he satisfies that drive in training now, not by returning to active fighting. He trains, he mentors, he develops his athletes, but his fighting career is permanently finished.
Honestly, I'm about retirement. When I retired, I never think to coming back because it was a very clear decision. Very, very clear decision. Of course, sometimes I want to compete with high-level guys, but in my gym, I have best fighters in the world. When I miss some competition, I go to the gym. I can find not only best guys in their division, I can find best pound-for-pound guys in the world. And of course, I go and compete. This is in my blood. I love this. I love wrestling. I love competition. But going back to the cage, no.
Following that, he discussed the concept of maintaining friendships with past opponents. And this reveals Khabib's mindset in a really compelling way. He clarified that while respect and professionalism definitely have their place, you can acknowledge someone's abilities and character. Genuine friendship becomes very difficult after sharing the cage with someone. From his perspective, when another person has attempted to genuinely harm you inside that octagon, when you've been locked in there, trying to break each other's will, that boundary cannot simply disappear later with a respectful gesture and pleasant conversation. There's a lasting change in how you relate to each other.
We have to be nice, but it's never gonna be friend. But this guy tried to smash it.
Khabib went further, discussing how Dagestan's influence on MMA continues expanding with these determined fighters emerging who avoid the spotlight. They don't engage in verbal warfare or social media attention-seeking. They simply compete and dominate. While he recognizes the commercial aspects of MMA, the marketing, the spectacle elements that generate pay-per-view buys, he emphasized that MMA should ultimately center on one basic reality. One competitor against another, determining who's superior in combat. That remains the most important factor in his opinion.
US promotions, very, very bad, because there is so many hungry fighters coming.
Yeah.
And they don't like to talk. They don't like trash talk. They just come, smash people, and take money, you know? And US promotions, they don't like this. They like trash talking. They like entertainment. I understand. In one way, it's business. But in other way, end of the day, this is sport. It's sport 1-on-1. You go alone inside the cage, and we will see.
Moving into the conversation with his own confident declaration, Ian Gary stated his position without any hesitation and absolutely no uncertainty in his delivery. He explained the only method to silence all the criticism surrounding his reputation, all the skeptics, all the doubters, all the people challenging his credibility is by going directly through Islam Makhachev, not finding an alternate route, not waiting for a simpler opportunity, but straight through the reigning champion. In Ian Gary's perspective, defeating the current pound-for-pound leader and capturing the lightweight championship wouldn't simply be another victory on his resume. It would eliminate every question and silence every excuse permanently. That's the type of declaration that demands attention.
There's going to be no excuses from anyone on the planet. When I beat him, I have beaten the greatest pound-for-pound fighter on the planet right now. Your excuses are all finished. There's none. Don't look for them. Don't pick on them. I'll beat the #1 pound-for-pound on the planet. I'll be the champion of the world. And then we can start the aggressive.
As well, like it's not small well.
No, he's a big dude.
You're like,
There's no excuses, none whatsoever.
No.
When I beat Islam Makhachev and I win the world title, there will be no excuses from anyone, anywhere on the planet. End of, done. They all look for something. They all want that claim of, it was this, it was that. No, it couldn't have been you. It couldn't have been. That Ian's just better than you.
With Paddy and Justin heading toward a confrontation that's creating more intensity each passing day, Armin advancing through the competition and establishing himself across multiple fighting disciplines, and Khabib's philosophy still resonating as the benchmark for excellence in this weight class. The lightweight division seems more unpredictable than it's ever been. You have elite contenders clashing, reputations at stake, and athletes making declarations that will shape the future landscape. And for everyone watching, all that remains is to witness how it plays out when they step into that octagon, because this division is ready to completely ignite.